Hello and welcome to this week's Travelin Young. Please bear with my voice because I think
You're
it's
sick.
I think it's the fall allergies maybe.
I hope.
Hopefully. But this week we're going to talk about work-life balance. The top 5 differences in work-life balance when it comes to working in Denmark versus when we worked in the United States of America.
Yes.
Work-life balance on this week's Travelin Young. All right, here we are. Let's talk about work-life balance and the top 5 differences. And I'm going to start with the first one. This is not necessarily in any specific order, but it felt like a good thing to start with, which is taking time off work because we just returned from a 2-week holiday. And I'll just say at the point of recording in our world, in our timeline right now, we were just 7 days ago in Egypt looking at the pyramids of Giza.
Yeah, exactly.
And
1 week ago we were
so expect a future video on this, but I'm just going to give you a little teaser here and show this one picture, which is we went there because that's where we went for our anniversary, our honeymoon 25 years ago. This is a picture of us in front of King Tut's tomb 25 years ago.
Yay.
And this is a picture of us in front of King Tut's tomb
now
2 weeks ago when we were there, or whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, or whenever we were in Luxor. We were there for 2 weeks. And that's the big thing is I think we only, maybe every other year, we would take a 2-week vacation. And that would be the maximum type of vacation you could take in the U.S. It was difficult to take more than 2 weeks. And it was always in the summer. You certainly wouldn't take 2 weeks off in October.
Once we did almost 3 weeks, but that was took a lot of planning and negotiation.
We would, twice. And one time we did the big Euro thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And another time we went to Morocco. But that was maybe just a little over 2 weeks.
It could have been 2.5.
But it wasn't a big deal taking 2 weeks off. And I don't think I got sick. I got not sick in Egypt. I think the problem was it was warm. And then we came here and it was cold and rainy.
Yeah.
When I got back, my body was like, what's going on? Yeah. We were used to all this sun
degrees.
Just days ago. But work-life balance, being able to take 2 weeks off, no question, no problem. Nobody was bothering me at all. I for my work, I put on my out of office and people messaged me. I did only message a couple people back because it was somewhat urgent, but I basically just told them I was gone. Yeah. I didn't respond other than to say, well, take care of it when I get back, because I had my phone with me. Yeah. And so I saw a couple things, but I wasn't engaged in work. It was mostly hey, just so you know, we'll talk about it when I get back in a week and a half or whenever it was. But otherwise, people were respectful and we were able to really enjoy the vacation. And taking the time and being able to enjoy it, I think is a difference.
Yeah, I was actually incredibly busy. This is we're just starting Q4, if you know what that is. And so Q3 for me was extremely busy. I was just constantly doing a lot of work and stuff. And so very unlike how it is in America, my boss was under no circumstances are you allowed to do any work. He was I do not want you on your phone. I do not want to hear from you. I do not want you answering emails. He was take time off. And I think the mentality is especially if you have employees who are working really hard, they want you to come back and be refreshed and not burn out.
If I reference the trip to Morocco, I remember one time I had a call while we're in a Riyadh in Marrakesh talking about a project for work because it couldn't wait. Yeah. And then another time my boss called me because there were some organizational changes, not affecting me, but other people who wanted to talk to me. And at that point we were in Fez. So at least twice I remember distinctly work calls I needed to take when I was living and working in the U.S. on this vacation, because it's just unheard of to have that much time off. Yeah. And so, that is a massive difference. Being able to take an extended amount of time off outside of the summer, being October and us when it was a little bit cooler in Egypt, which is why we wanted to go then, and also not being bothered. Yeah. So that's one. Number two.
Number 2 is an interesting one. I hadn't encountered this until we came to Denmark, but I know there's a couple of companies in the U.S. that do it, but it's eating lunch together. I try to go into the office quite a bit. I know you mostly work from home, but I actually go into the office, especially now that we're back, quite a bit. And it's like clockwork. Every day at 11:30, we all focused. So we all go downstairs and we all eat together. And I think that's actually quite nice. I sometimes try to push myself and do stuff in Danish. But regardless, it is nice to have that time to kind of sit with your colleagues and just talk about what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't just work from home. I actually work from offices. It's just not always this one.
Yeah, you're traveling. You're usually traveling.
I was in London 3 days this week at our office in London.
Yeah.
Or last week. But so when I'm home, I tend to work from home because I'm in other offices multiple days. But this is my third employer since living in Denmark. Every single one. There was lunch provided or like a very cheap lunch that you can get, and everybody takes it at the same time. And that's actually my favorite part of when I go into the office here, because I don't work a lot with the people in the office. As mentioned, I'm in other offices often. So that's like one of my few times to actually engage with people in the office is when we're all sitting and having lunch together.
Yeah.
And I think that's even more Danish than European, because when I go to other offices like London or Germany or France, it's all quick lunch, eat it at your desk and all this kind of stuff. So I feel like in Denmark, it feels very much like a Danish thing. And definitely, I mean, when I was at one employer, they had like a chef there that even wrote a book and stuff around recipes during COVID as a way for him to stay active. Yeah. That had different food every day. I mean, it was like prioritized as like good food, sit together, something to be proud of. And that was definitely a difference.
That's also like a kind of one of the benefits that people will promote is how good their canteen is. And sometimes you'll go to other offices. And I know that not every job has a canteen. I understand that. But at least for the companies that I work for and the companies I work with,
I think a large majority.
A lot of them have canteens, and sometimes you'll go to other offices. You're like, dang, like you some of your canteens that you found. I'm like, man, this canteen's way better than my canteen.
Yeah, my last job,
my canteen,
we had people visiting from England, friends of ours, and I was like, do you mind if I bring them into lunch one day so they could see this canteen? It's such good food and they can see it. I mean, I was proud of it. It was great. Yeah. In the U.S., lunches were basically if you either you'd skip it or you'd go get like Subway or something really quickly.
McDonald's.
And it was fast. You'd bring it back, eat at your desk, and it wasn't really time that you. Because the other thing is because you're eating as a team, people don't schedule meetings.
Yeah, there's no expectation.
And you're just like scheduling it to eat.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3 is not working after work hours. Now, I will say in my current job, because I engage with so many different countries and I do a lot of work with the U.S. teams, I do kind of have to work later than normal, than I would normally. Then the other 2 jobs I had were much more like Danish focused, and you'd leave at 4:35 or whatever, and that's it. You're not working anymore until the next day. Everything can wait till the next morning. It's a little harder now because I have all these weird time zones to deal with. I mean, I still try to respect it. But it can be difficult because I do a lot of work with people in California, which is like 9 hours different. It ends up having later nights.
I have the same issue because some of the work that I do, and not nearly to the extent that Josh does, but I have an EMEA role, but then I also, part of my job is doing some global stuff. And so I also have meetings with people in California. So sometimes I also have quite late meetings.
But the other 2 jobs I had in Denmark, which were more Danish focused, and your previous job probably, it was much more Danish working hours.
Yeah,
and afterwards things can wait till the next day.
Yeah.
And even then I can push back if I need to and say, I'm not going to join this meeting, or, I'm not going to respond to this thing. Whereas in the US, that was very difficult. I basically felt like I was working or was expected to be working any moment that my eyes were open,
Yeah. I think there is just that general kind of mentality and expectation from American workplaces that you are available at all times, even when you're on vacation.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, and it's been a struggle for me to stop being that way because I spent, so many years of my career. It was so
ingrained in you to do that.
Doing that. Yeah. And then now I'm back with people that do that. Because I work with U.S. colleagues, so it's a bit tough. Yeah. But we're trying, and everybody else in the Danish office are all into the Danish work hours. Yes. All right, so number 4 is for you.
It is for me. I feel like it's good for you, though.
Well, no, for you to announce.
For me to announce is taking time off for being sick. This was one of the wild things that came up when I first started working, which was, I remember I got sick for the first time and I was like, how do I log, my sick hours? Like, where do I go log that? And people were like, what do you mean, where do you log your sick hours? I was like, well, where do I go? Because that's what you do in the US. You have a bank of the of amount of time that you can be sick, and you have to work from that. And once you run out of that, you're kind of done. But here it's just, if you're sick, you're sick. I remember one time I got COVID and I messaged my boss and I was like, I have to be quarantined for the next 5 days and I'm running a really high fever. He was like, don't even think about work. I'll make sure all of your meetings get moved. Please get better. And it's just like such a 180 from how it is in the US, where it's like very much viewed as a huge inconvenience that you're sick and how could you possibly get sick? This is the worst possible time. Whereas here, everybody's like, oh my gosh, how are you feeling? What do you need? What can we do for you? Like, at least in my office, I don't know how it is in other people's offices, but at least in my office, everybody's like super ready to help out.
Well, even more so in the U.S., most of the time you may not be getting paid to take time off for being sick. Yeah,
exactly.
And people often can't afford to then take time off to be sick. So they work through being sick. And that makes you not healthy, not productive, and all these other problems, or it takes you forever to go to the doctor, and it's just like issues.
If you ever want to understand why there's so many over-the-counter medicines when you go to the U.S., that is why. Because we have to just medicate ourselves to be able to go to work.
Now, I do think one of the consequences of working from home is you're more likely to work while being sick.
Yeah.
Because before, when it wasn't really an option to work from home, you wouldn't go into the office, one, because you needed to be healthy, but also so you didn't get other people sick. Yeah. But you can technically work from home and not get other people sick. Yeah. And so it's a little more difficult to take time off. I mean, worst case, I'll take maybe half days if I don't feel well. But if I have to go to a doctor's appointment or anything like that, there's never an issue, and nobody like, oh, okay, that's fine. Or colleagues that
just like,
I'm sick and I need to take today off. Like, okay, do that. Take care of yourself so you can be ready to rock and roll when you get back and feel better.
Yeah.
That's definitely a difference. All right, the last one is taking care of your family. I think this is interesting in that, I mean, there's a couple, you and your family. This is inclusive of a couple things. One is in Denmark, I believe it's at least 1 day, if not 2 days.
I think you get 1 day.
If your kid is sick, you can take a day off to take care of your kid.
Yeah.
And you're not penalized in any way. You're expected to be able to take care of your child. Yeah. Now, our kid has never been young enough for that to be applicable to us since we've lived here, basically. But that's really nice. You have a little kid and they're sick. They need to stay home. How are you going to take care of them? Well, you can take care of them, and you're not penalized in any way for that. But also there's other things like benefits in taking care of you and your family. Like my current job has like a wellness benefit where we can like get an Apple Watch or something that like is, health tracking, or a gym membership, or you can buy a piece of equipment or something. Yeah. And that is extended to members of the family. And also there's this eyeglass thing where I can get glasses and have like a reimbursement for glasses. Every place I've worked at has had some kind of glasses related eyewear benefit. Usually it's more just computer glasses as it relates to work, but my current employer is just like anything. Fantastic for me because I started wearing glasses when I moved to Denmark. So now I need them. I didn't need them before. But there's just like more around this idea of taking care of you and your family. And that's just like very different because, you want your employees to be happy and healthy, and that also requires their family to be happy and healthy. Yeah. So you're not stressed and concerned about something going on with somebody in your family that might affect your ability to be productive or do well at work. So there's a preference to make sure your family's also taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally agree, and I think it's also, again, similar to when you yourself are sick. If something else is going on, at least in my office, I've had several team members who've had illness in the family, and we all kind of rally around them and make sure that they can go spend the time to do that. And I think there's a big focus on making sure that employees aren't stressed out, and obviously that can be a big source of stress. So I think there's a big focus on making sure, that you aren't struggling to get glasses, or you can go, get acupuncture or something. I had to go get acupuncture on my shoulders, but being able to provide those kinds of additional insurance or benefits so that, you can take care of yourself and take care of your family as well.
But in the U.S., if like Maya were to be sick, one of us would have to take vacation time to take care of her, which is already, if we go back to the first thing we talked about, you're not getting very much vacation time anyway. It's very limited. You only get, we did a whole video around vacation time and time off work a long time ago. You don't get a ton, maybe 2 or 3 weeks a year. And then if your child is sick and needs to go to the hospital and needs recovery time, you might lose a third of your time off work and vacation time that you're not. And the point of vacation time is to have time to relax and relieve stress and come back not burnt out. But if you have to use your vacation time to care for your child, which is probably just as stressful because it's your kid as work might be, you're not coming back refreshed. You're coming back then still worried. I mean, it's a bit of a trap. So it's very nice that those things are much easier to manage here. And
I think that actually even goes into, and this is maybe something for a completely different video, but I mean, that actually also even extends to maternity leave, because maternity leave here and paternity leave, like they have both maternity and paternity leave. You are allowed to take it, and it is extensive compared to what we had in the US. I mean, I was very lucky and had generous maternity leave, which meant I had 3 weeks of maternity leave and I got to use all 3 weeks of my vacation time. So I had 6 weeks off. That was paid, and that is considered quite generous in the US.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the points we can make is a lot of these topics, while some of these topics are required by law, like the time you have off work, taking your kid for a day, all this kind of stuff, there's no negotiation around that in Denmark. Some of them, like having a wellness benefit or glasses is just a benefit of an employer. Although to be competitive in the market, those are the types of things most employers here provide. Whereas in the US, none of that's required.
No.
And so there might be some employers that offer. So the employer I work for now does have some of these things for the employers that are employees in the US, although not exactly the same as here. But so you might find some employers in the US that offer some of this stuff to be competitive and to encourage people to work for them. But it's part of a package. It's not, none of that is like required by law. The time off work or like work hours and these things aren't required. So some employers say no. I mean,
you aren't entitled to anything.
We never had much of that. You know, we had very limited benefits in that sense, because a lot of the benefits tend to be tied to your health care, because that's such a hefty burden. So most of the spending for an employer around benefits to their employee tends to go to some kind of healthcare benefit and limited time off, and the rest of it is certainly not paternity leave.
No, absolutely not.
You worked for nonprofits, which is one reason I think you had slightly better benefits.
Because generally you would get, I mean, it was just kind of a known in the nonprofit world that you get paid less, but you get better benefits, because that was just how they attracted people, because they couldn't pay you a lot. So yeah, I think that's absolutely one of the reasons why I have more generous, maternity leave. So. All
right, there you go. So let's wrap it up there. Work-life balance. If you have anything you've thought of, any experience you've had in the U.S., or any questions, please put it in the comments. Very interested to hear what you think around work-life balance in the U.S. compared to your life in Denmark, or if you're in the U.S., the other way around. Let us know. But for that, we're just going to say adios. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.